So I started writing sympathy cards just shortly after my dad died, and it all kind of just spilled out of me pretty quick. I felt like it was just kind of there for the taking, and the first verse and chorus just flew out, and I was super excited about it and felt like it was going to be this great thing to honor my dad. And then I just like hit a wall. I think the biggest hurdle for me was that I was trying to fit this 63 years of my dad's life into a 3-minute song, and it finally dawned on me that like this song isn't about his whole life. That's not what this is about. This isn't what I set out to do. It was more about, you know, dealing with the loss of my dad and the grief and processing it and everything. And so once that realization came to me, the rest poured right out again, and I sat down and got the next verse out, and it was perfect. And I sang it to my wife right after I wrote it, and like I teared up and she teared up, and I was like, all right, this is it. Here we go, I got it. We filmed it at my dad's house. When I wrote the song and was trying to think of where I wanted to film the video, that seemed like the best place to do it because I spent so much time there growing up, and it's just kind of a magical place. When he passed away, I went down there immediately. Just felt like that was the place for me to be, to like feel connected to him. Everywhere I look in the house and that yard, there's a memory. It's a beautiful set for it.
Several months ago, I get a text from my friend Ben with a song attached to it. And it was just a really simple message, something along the lines of, hey, there's a new Parade of Bad Guys song. We want to make a video for it. I think you're the guy to do it. And I'm like, why am I the guy to do it? So I listened to the song, get to the end. Of course, my eyes are welling up because I'd lost my dad about 6 months prior to Ben losing his dad. So to me, it was an honor to be involved in helping Ben's vision come to life. And really a lot of credit goes to him because I showed up with a camera. He knew what he wanted. He knew what he wanted to represent, and all I had to do was film it and fine-tune it a little bit. I
started going through some of his stuff and picking out some cool things that I wanted to have in there to just kind of to honor him, you know, and to you know, build this scene of relics of the past.
You're taking a trip into Ben's life and his childhood. Ben just set up some of his dad's old things, and it was so cool to not have to think about the set and what was happening. It was already built in because there was so much emotion and, you know, these sentimental feelings attached to that space and attached to these objects. It made it really easy for me as a filmmaker, as a director. I think it's turned out to be a pretty special video to go with an amazing song.
Leading up to the shoot, you know, my grandma was moving out of her house and selling it, and so we ended up with boxes and boxes of old memories. So it was really a cool experience to go through and see all these old pictures that I had, you know, hadn't seen in years or had never seen and stuff. And so I had a few ready to go and hadn't really looked through them a ton, just kind of glanced at them. And so, you know, yeah, having a camera in my face and looking at these pictures was definitely, you know, an experience. But I just tried to pretend it wasn't there and just think of each memory and stuff. You know, it's kind of like walking around my dad's place. You know, there's a memory everywhere I look, and so each picture that I was looking at, it's like I could imagine, you know, the time and place and you know, the feelings and stuff. And it was, you know, I mean, doing the whole video was really just a whole cathartic experience for me. One of my dad's cousins, I guess he's also my cousin, cousin Bob. He's more of an uncle, you know. He's been our family, you know, videographer for years and has always had a camera and has documented lots of stuff throughout the years. And so he was the first person I hit up right away. I was like, you gotta have some old footage of my dad. And he had actually just got a bunch of stuff from my grandma that she had filmed too. So he went through and found some great clips, like from my wedding, from the farm that my grandma grew up on, my great-grandparents' farm that my dad spent a lot of time on growing up. And so some of the footage, like in the very beginning, is all from that farm out in Eagle where they first settled in the early 1900s. I can remember during those times when I was young of how much I hated having a camera in my face. And we would always it would just be this joke about how we didn't want the camera in our face. And now, you know, 20 years later, it's just like, I'm so thankful that exists and that, you know, I get to look back on that and hear my dad's voice again and, you know, all that stuff. There's no right way to grieve, you know, everybody has their own process and stuff. And so I hope this will help some folks with going through that process. I felt like I was in a better place when we were done. I created something, you know, with the help of friends and family to make this thing to honor my dad, and it's been a really cool experience, and I feel like I'm kind of in a better place now with dealing with his death and everything too. It's like, I've been wanting to do something for him to honor him. Felt like that was something that I will always have. I can pass down to my kids, you know, that my family can watch, and you know, everybody that knew and loved him and stuff will be able to see, and it'll be this really cool thing that will always be there. So.